Welcome back to RGR Football. I hope you guys are excited about this one like I am. We're going to have a great conversation with one of the Chiefs' newest players at a position that I think is really key to the evolution of this game. We're going to talk about the game, the Chiefs, the whole 9 yards. Click the like and the sub and the bell notification now so you see everything that's coming from me and my team here at RGR Football. Now, let me set this up a little bit. Got a chance to talk to the newest Chief at the fullback spot in Michael Burton. We did it over Zoom, and Zoom is always a little bit funky. Sometimes my internet connection is really funky, so there's a little bit of lag on my end of the conversation. You're going to see that here in the video. This goes with the piece that is on Locked On Chiefs tonight as well. You can get the full thing between the two pieces here. I'm really excited about it. So let's get to it. This is Michael Burton, fullback, Kansas City Chiefs.
And for those of you who know me and what I want to get done, you'll be exactly excited as I am to welcome Michael Burton. How are you? The newest member of the Kansas City Chiefs. I appreciate you taking the time.
Absolutely. Very thankful to be on here. I really appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, it's going to be great because I would like nothing more than to talk about the position that you play. And that's kind of where I want to start. Like, how do you feel about the state of the fullback in the league right now?
Yeah, it's interesting. I think there's a little bit of a misconception. When you look at the top rushing teams in the league, typically the top 6, 7 carry fullback. Then you look at the playoff teams, top 10, 11 out of the 12, they also carry fullback. So while I think there is this conception that there is, the fullback's kind of a dying breed, I think when it comes to the league and the NFL, there are quite a handful of teams that carry them, and typically those teams play pretty well, and they're able to run the ball and they have a balanced offense. So, I'm hoping to keep that trend upward and not go downward. And, I'm just trying to do my part, to keep the position as alive as possible.
Well, I am all for that. And
yeah.
Specifically, I love the way that you talked about at your presser, and I don't want to cover ground that's already been gone over, but
right.
A couple of things stood out to me, like the attraction of the West Coast offense for you, being a guy that can catch passes, that can carry the ball, that obviously knows how to block for some pretty high profile backs. Mm-hmm. Like, what do you see your role as walking into right away?
Yeah, I think that role is being that versatile guy, a guy who can line up, who can run block, but then at the same time, maybe flexed out in the slot and go run a pass route and then come back in on third down and then be able to protect the quarterback. So, and then in short yardage situations or goal line situations, be able to run the ball, gain a yard or two for a first down or a touchdown. So it's really being able to do all those different things on top of playing special teams as well. That's another thing. But you asking specifically about the offense, it's being that versatile guy who can do a lot of different things, because it's like when can you go on the field like 21 personnel, right? That's, backing the fullback, but be able to run, be able to spread them out and run the ball. So you promote base defense, right? But you're running stuff that's spread out. So maybe you get a mismatch, you get a linebacker on one of our running backs who's an excellent, route runner, and there's a mismatch there. So there's things that you can create, I think, when you have that balance. But you can only do that if the player you have is that versatile guy who can do different things. So for me, that's really my main goal, is to be that versatile guy.
Oh, that's what I'm looking for too. Between the wham blocks and everything. Obviously, Anthony Sherman was in this offense for quite a long time. He's got some unique plays. Was obviously we saw the smoked sausage play, the underhand tosses and all that stuff. Like, have you started thinking about how you're going to handle some of that from Mahomes?
Yeah, I mean, look, I saw that play, and I think, was it last year or the year before, he might have caught like a go route down the sideline.
Yep.
I mean, he's done some things even early in his career. He did some stuff at H where he ran for some touchdowns too. So again, I think he was another guy who was versatile. Coaches trusted him. He was smart. He could play special teams, and you could put him in those different roles knowing that he was going to get the job done. And when his name was called, he was going to execute. So me stepping in there and trying to fill that role that he kind of left behind, I think that's, one of my main goals for sure.
I'm excited about that. And I know that the coach was the big draw for you. Playing for a Hall of Famer, you've played for some great coaches. I mean, coming off of time with Sean Payton, like, do you see similarities between Payton and Reid? Is there some kind of common thread, or is the fact that it's successful offense that was the draw for you?
Yeah, I think it's a combination of both, the type of leaders they are. I mean, when I was in Chicago and Coach Nagy came over, he would always echo Coach Reid. He would talk about Coach Reid and how he ran the organization. So just hadn't played for Nagy And I kind of knew what I was getting into, that Coach Reid was going to be a spectacular person, but also a leader, communicator. And just the little time I've been a part of this team, part of this culture, you understand it very, very quickly, why they are the way they are, why they win, they play at a high level, why they've been to, multiple Super Bowls, so that didn't surprise me in the least. And the same with Coach Payton, Super Bowl winning coach, and another coach that just does things the right way. Players want to play for him, smart. And these offensive minds they have are just, it's amazing. It really is.
For guys standing on the field, executing what they're kind of dreaming up.
Yeah.
Do you still have these two guys in particular, like, been able to kind of lull you into a sense of, hey, I need to be prepared for anything at any time, because you never know what they'll come up with?
Exactly. You never know when your name's going to get called, and you never know the situation that they're going to put you in, because they can envision things that most of us can't. And you just hope that if your name is called and they put you in that situation, you can execute. So they call it again, or they draw up some other stuff for you. They've just Coach Reid, having studied a lot of tape, watching cut-ups from when I was in Chicago, then watching crossover tape and studying. And a lot of their stuff is on our teach tapes, because they do things at such a high level. The things they come up with, it's really, really prolific. I mean, their offense, their passing attack specifically, as well as their run game. So he's just coaching and coming up with offensive schemes at a really high level right now.
I know you mentioned this in your presser too. Like, part of being a fullback is playing teams, right? And you have to get out there and go hit somebody. I think that Anthony certainly was a stalwart, a leader in that position. Is that something that you feel you can step in and, with your experience, be another go-to guy on that unit?
Yeah, that's the goal. That 100% is the goal. I think first and foremost, though, I need to come in and need to earn the respect from my peers, from the coaches. Come in with a great work ethic. Ability to be coachable, want to learn. And earn that respect from those guys, and then eventually allow your play, to represent that. And that's something I'm looking forward to, and something I can't wait to do when we get back out on the field. Is show the coach the importance of special teams. My goal is to be a 4-core starter. And just help that team, help the team win in any way possible. And special teams is such a big factor in that. And you got to be able to provide value there. You just have to. And, the game's changed a little bit on special teams, just with the new rules and body types and things like that. You got to be able to run, you got to be able to play in space, cover, do all those things. So, it's certainly a very, very important part of the game.
And that's an interesting point that you make, because the athleticism aspect comes into it more today than I think it did a few years ago.
Right.
So when you first start talking to Dave Toub, like, what is the difference that you immediately find in playing teams here versus the last couple of places?
Yeah. I think, well, one, he's a great coach, right? They played at a high level for a really long time. And actually Coach Tabor was his assistant for a while. So I got to learn some of the technique and some of the scheme wise, which, I think, is good for me, so I'm not coming in with a complete blank slate. Like, I have an understanding of how they try to do things and things like that. And again, like I alluded to, the offense, they're another great special teams unit. Historically, they're always top in the league in coverage units, and you always just watch a lot of film on them because they do things the right way. So, just really excited to get, with Coach and start working with him and the guys.
I think you picked a great time to come to this particular team, because I think they're pretty hungry. I think they're pretty pissed off about the last outcome of the last contest they played. But it's also, I think, important to come off of COVID and what craziness was last year. Like, do you feel now at this point going into the next season that things are starting to calm down a little bit? I know they're still testing and things, but like, how do you feel about the state of being able to go to work every day is right now?
Yeah, I'm excited about it. I understood that this past year for everybody in the country, the world, really was very difficult, just trying to figure out, what was going on with COVID, and so much unknown, right? It was so new that it was just hard to really figure out, what to do, like with the different protocols and guidelines and things like that, especially with the league. So I will say, at least with the Saints, I'm sure the same thing with the Chiefs last year, the league, the PA, like they did a great job putting protocols in place, to keep us safe. And I thought that was the most important thing. And like you kind of alluded to, the hopes is, the vaccines out and things like that, herd immunity, we'll have the ability to see kind of a more normal off-season training camp and season, fans back in the building and all those types of things. So could not be more excited. to get that going, especially a guy like me who's new. I want to be in the building with the guys, with the coaches, learning and getting to know, being part of that culture, meet my new teammates, as quickly as possible for me.
I want to switch over and talk about some specific things about being in this town and this organization. And there's so much that goes in there. B, have you practiced receiving no look passes yet?
No, I have not, but you're not the first person who's asked me that. That is something I'll probably have to add into my workout routine. You never know. Again, you always got to have your eyes and you always got to be alert. You never know when you're going to get the ball. I mean, he's made some unbelievable, spectacular plays by doing that. It's almost kind of routine now. It's like, it's so amazing, but you kind of expect it. Like it's crazy. Yeah. You just got to be ready for it at all times. Because his competitiveness, he's always trying to make a play, how competitive he is. And that's one thing I noticed just watching the Super Bowl. I mean, he was just as competitive as you can be. Like he fought to the very last end, every single snap. It was truly amazing to watch.
It really is. And he's not the only one. And obviously you're stepping into a position that Anthony Sherman filled in. He got one of the main blocks to seal the Super Bowl previous to get that victory under the thing. So I love the fact that there's opportunity. If you had your druthers, would you rather catch the pass or would you rather crack somebody and spring the tailback?
I'd rather crack and spring the tailback. I really would. That's always been my mentality since I've been a fullback, was to just watch the running backs be able to run right by me and, or protect the quarterback so he can make a big throw. One of those things where, I'm all for, let my guys, have that. I think it's really important, when guys don't really care about who gets it, right? To be able to spring that. I mean, I remember watching that, he sprung it, running back, went right down the sideline and sealed the game. And that was amazing. And, hopefully be able to, get in that opportunity again this year.
Yeah, I think it's going to be great.
Yeah.
I'm really interested about how everything goes about. Obviously we don't hear from EB that much, but you've had some contact with him. Like, how is it, just initial looks at being in that room, working with him every day, the intensity level, even here, as we're talking late April and about to go to the draft?
Yeah, he's fantastic. He really is. He's a great leader, great coach, great communicator. I mean, he demands detail. He wants tough football players, guys who can play fast and understand their scheme, to know exactly what you need to do in order to play fast. Because if you can do that, it's just going to make you that much better. I remember he interviewed me back at the Combine in 2015, and right then and there, I knew the type of football coach he was, and what he demands of his players. So to be able to play from him, not only is it going to make me a better football player, but it's going to make me a better person too, well beyond the game. Just that's the type of energy that he brings when you communicate with him. So couldn't be more excited, to get working with Coach.
Yeah, he's a pretty inspiring dude, I have to say.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that brings me to talking about Matt, right? So Matt's worked with both of them before, and Coach Nagy's a little bit of a different guy, right? Everybody's got their own personality, but do you see now being in this building some of the similarities, not just with the scheme itself, but the way he goes about his job and what it comes from Reid?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. Just the way he ran practices, team meetings, again, a big detail guy, tough-minded football team, got to be able to run the football, trying to scheme up our players, put them in the best situations to be successful. Like, there's a lot of crossover that I see that, that Nags, obviously brought over from Coach Reid. But it's like Coach Reid does it at such a high level and it works, so why wouldn't you do that?
One thing I'm really curious to see is like how the transition is from the tempo of practice, because we always hear about what Reid does. And I know some of the guys try to do the same thing. I'm sure Matt Nagy did. I just wonder if it's the same. Any of the guys talk to you about how to get through camp, especially?
I have not yet, but I'm assuming, look, when you're an organization that wins at such a high level that they do, you're going to practice full speed, you're going to practice, and you're going to be going, for the whole time you're out on the field. So it's not it's going to be something I'm probably going to be used to, I expect training camp to be hard like that. That's when you get calloused, right? That's when you put the work in. That's when, you build that camaraderie with your guys. I love the fact that they travel and they go away, because I think it just completely is, all your focus is on the team, and there's limited distractions, and it's just such an opportunity to grow as an organization and to get better. So, I'm pumped to get going, especially in training camp.
So going back to the Midwest, you were in Chicago, you got down to New Orleans. Yeah. Now back in the Midwest, how does that feel like after COVID and all that? It's probably not the same feel, right? But a little bit more relaxed.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's great. I tell you, it's not as hot as Louisiana, so that's certainly nice for sure. I've heard great things about the city. Obviously, loves their football, loves their baseball. So, definitely want to look to travel down there to, explore the city and what it has to offer and stuff. Hopefully be able to do that at some point in, the next few months or so.
Big tie-in with your offensive line, right? You got to work in concert in a lot of different ways. Have you had a chance to bond with that group yet?
Not yet, but that's definitely a group that I will certainly bond with. We can kind of get back in the building and get going here. Like you said, that's a huge factor, just to see how the guys, how they play up front, so you can get a feel for, some of their technique and things like that. I think that really, it helps me, and then I'm able to adjust off that, and then it helps the running back who's behind me. So like you said, that's definitely a group that you want to be close with. And typically I am, we run blocking, all that kind of stuff. Usually weight room guys like to work. So I'm excited to get with that group for sure. And a lot of new guys too, a lot of great new players coming in that I can't wait to work with as well. Kyle Long, worked with him, played with him in Chicago, right. So very familiar with him. But heard great things about Joe, Orlando, obviously, Austin, the new center. So heard great things about these guys. So, can't wait to get going with them.
Well, folks, I hope you enjoyed this. And I just want to say thank you, Mike, because you answered my particular hope that this fullback position would be filled. And It certainly is. Welcome to Kansas City, and thanks for taking the time.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me on. Couldn't ask for a better situation. Can't wait to get started. Love this team, love this culture, and just can't wait to get started.
It'll be a blast.
Absolutely.
Now, I want to say a big thank you to Michael himself, to his reps, as well as the Kansas City Chiefs for having Michael on today. And I think it goes a long way to show you just how much he brings to the team: respect, energy, willingness to experiment, and quite frankly, a healthy respect for what the Chiefs already have in town. So like, sub, hit the bell, do all that stuff. We have more coming for you. Thanks for watching this one. We'll catch you next time.
Thanks for watching this video from the team at RGR Football. Click these videos to see more and subscribe to RGR Football.